Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to yet another win or go home race here in the Fabul Gauntlet. This week 5 has seen a lot of them. Tonight we have pk4787 versus jeebus0, both trying to get that third win and get a chance at a play-in match for brackets. 2 wins will not be enough to continue past the Swiss round, so a lot on the line for both of them tonight. My name's Invenerable. I am here joined in the booth by Gambit017. We got Max Frost handling our restream and Error doing the tracking. Gambit, I think you have a little bit of skin in this game too tonight, don't you?
I actually don't. I know our tracker Error does.
Error,
I'm free and clear here. But definitely looking forward to a good race, seeing if, again, for our tracker, a win for PK increases his strength of schedule. And it gets you into getting the 3 and 2, looking for some extra wins from your opponents, definitely to help out. Try to avoid that playing if possible, but at least trying to get that third win to get to that point.
Yeah, pardon me. I was not paying full attention to our little pre-game voice chat here, but yeah, our tracker would love to see one of these wins just for his own strength of schedule. Other than that, little history between these two. They've only had one common opponent thus far, and, well, Jeebus beat that opponent. PK lost to that opponent. Not going to name names, not calling anyone else out tonight. So that does hint a little bit that maybe things are weighted towards Jeebus here. And as far as their strength of schedule, Jeebus also has the advantage there, 5 points on that. But head-to-head, anything can happen. One of these racers will get their third win regardless tonight. How do you like this start tonight, game?
I got a twin start. I mean, it's always a good thing. We'll see who we get paired with, decide whether or not we're going to be doing a lot of looting up front, or if we're just going to try to go straight into, say, Hobbs or Antlion.
And of course, a lot of this will also come down to whatever our 5 objectives are. We'll get those populated for you once we actually get on the road and see what Guiding Way has to offer us. But yeah, love to see a Palom start. As long as you can get through even the Antlion spot without a split XP fight, you're gonna get Ice 2, you're gonna have that Tier 2 magic off to the races. The bluff ability's so good. What would you like to pair with your Palom here at the start of a seed? Any preferences, Gambit? Uh-oh. Okay, chat. My fellow restreamer Gambit just had a power surge. Will be back in the call on Discord as soon as he gets booted back up. So you're just gonna have to endure me flying solo for a little bit. Of course, having any mage, you'd love to see someone who can equip heavy armor and tank a little bit, provide physical damage for bosses that you can't really get the magical damage on. Having a white mage, always great to get healing to go along with your offensive output. And if he gets another Palom or the Porum in this seed, we'll be able to do a twin magic. Kane's pretty more than all right, though. CPU at the Bygone spot, handing out a pink tail. So if we get a hook, we'll get some piece of top-tier gear for it. But let's launch this airship, and then our tracker will get you all those objectives for quick and easy reference throughout the seed. Neckbeard tech, absolutely. I can imagine few things that would cause more panic than having a power surge. Of course, 15 minutes into the race for our racers. They are on delay. On delay? Miss Cave, get Palom, defeat Calbrana, complete Tower of Zot, defeat Bygone. Interesting. So we know there is a duplicate Palom in the seed. The first one does not count for the objective. So there's one duplicate in all these Swiss seeds. On this one, it is going to be another Palom. All of a sudden, Reflect strat's looking very appealing in advance for that ultimate Zeromus fight, just to have 2 very strong mages. We see Sid in the Baron Inn, guarded by Water Hag. Kind of an annoying place to see Water Hag. It's kind of a free boss on this flag set, so to have it in a spot that only has 400 HP anyway is a little disappointing. But on the other hand, it does mean that you shouldn't have too much trouble getting to that Sid when you want to add him to the team. Charm Rod in the back of Baron and a Ninja Hat, both great pieces of gear for an early Palom. Charm Rod, second best Black Mage stat stick, plus 10 to Wisdom. And the Ninja Hat helps this rather slow child actually get a little bit of agility and keep up with the rest of the team in the early game. Little divergence here. Seeing PK going for the Mist loot check. I kind of like this since we have to kill the Mist boss anyway. If you can get any kind of weapon for Kayn, you'll have an easy time there. But maybe in for a little bit of a shock if trying to use the Kid in this upcoming fight. Mist Dragon Spot has very high magic defense, shockingly so. Meanwhile, jeebus getting a lightsaber for possibly a future paladin and an ogre axe. Fantastic piece of gear for a starting Kayn. Between Kayn and that Kid, jeebus should be able to just blast through this overworld at this point. Seeing Rosa in the Kaipo bed. If we find a Sand Ruby and want to add the slightly buffer White Mage to our team, that's going to be very possible. And jeebus kind of taking the aggressive approach this seed after looting Baron, not doing any additional shopping, it seems, just going ahead and looting, pushing forward, seeing what he can find and where. PK taking a little more reserved approach. Waterfall Cave gives Bahamut, not a required fight, and kind of annoying, again, a boss fight that you can deal pretty handily with just a source of Reflect. So seeing it here instead of a harder spot, a little disappointing. We'll see what comes next for these racers. Ooh, and swapping the rows there, we get to see that we have some pretty nice Fab palettes rocking tonight. I like what I see. Ogre Axe. Oh, giving the Ninja Hat to Kayn instead of the Bandana. So losing a little bit of strength here in exchange for the bonus agility, but I definitely agree with the value in having a very fast anchor in the overworld. This Kayn is going to be hitting fast and furious against pretty much every overworld fight. Tella up on Hobbs, a fine utility character for any party, especially once you get a spell set online. Leviathan here is going to be a little dangerous by virtue of just it being magical attacks instead of physical, and of course HP-based Big Wave. But I don't think either racer will have much issue here. And I believe Gambit's back, except for some minor audio issues. We'll see if we can get that sorted out for you soon, chat. Throwing that Lightning Bolt, an HP-based attack item with Leviathan's weakness, will make it do roughly your current HP damage instead of the half it would normally do. And jeebus gets through the fight. Everyone's standing. Gonna be getting all those tier 2 elemental spells on Palom. A couple other utility ones for good measure. Some good levels on Kayn. This party is online and strong already. And with that Tella, oh yeah, we're getting a West Hobbs check.
Well, Tella's wonderful to have in West Hobbs just because he used the exit spell.
Hey, we got our Gambit back.
Sorry about that.
Hey, it's all good. Did you actually have the stream pulled up, or do I need to catch you up to speed on what we've seen so far?
I actually lost everything, so if you could catch me up, I would appreciate it.
Well, the team is mighty. We already got a Charm Rod for the Kid, an Ogre Axe for Kayn, Tella for the utility. And yeah, both players very online here, but PK, okay, does not get the XP on Palom, not going to have all those tier 2 spells yet, but with physical DPS like this on Kayn, what's to argue with? And PK did check a couple of extra shops, check both Mist and Kaipo before coming this way.
Gotcha, yeah, with Ogre Axe already for Kayn, really no need to worry too much about those extra levels for Palom at the moment. Again, especially down here in Antlion, Kayn's gonna be all you need.
Absolutely, and we've seen really good gear so far. That Ogre Axe, that Aegis Shield, the Ninja Hat and Bandana options. As someone who's been working more on the upcoming Brackets flag set, I'm a little envious of all these goodies that our racers are picking up tonight. So fairly neck and neck here, but those extra levels on the Kid will probably serve jeebus pretty well with whatever's in the Outlion spot. and a Blizzard Spear to pair with that Ogre Axe. All of a sudden, if you find a Rude Rubicante or Elements fight, Kain is ready to do a whole lot of extra damage there.
Oh yeah, Blizzard Spear is one of the best spears you can see early game for Kain, just because of the versatility and just how much damage you can pump out with it.
Absolutely. So taking a quick moment here to heal up the team, and we're going to see what's here in Antlion Cave.
Well, it's like Odin's decided to come out of his basement and burrow in a cave.
2 lightning weak bosses in a row. It's going to be very nice here having Lightning 2 on Palom, but even the Lightning 1 on both PK's Palom and Tella will do a lot of good work here. Not 2,200 damage of work, but neither racer's going to have any trouble with this fight.
Odin goes down pretty easily, and we get a Magma Key from Antlion. That's going to be...
Ooh, very, very nice item to find with this team this early. If you can find Sirens for Cell Underground or even pick one up somewhere, this team can very easily use that Siren, summon a yellow Dragon Egg, and all of a sudden your Palom has Quake online in the blink of an eye, and this overworld is getting cleaned even faster. Jeebus wasting no time, gonna go ahead and throw the key down the well and get underground access.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Jeebus go check the shops underground looking for Sirens right away.
Absolutely. We do have Stop already on Palom, and we have it on Tella both. If you want to, you can bluff a whole bunch of times and probably one-shot the egg. Because again, these yellow Dragon Eggs, they don't break out of their shell until you give them a little bop. And easy peasy 34,000 XP if we can find those Sirens. And yeah, chat, we've seen neither boss yet. We've not seen our duplicate Palom. We've not seen an Earth Crystal, and although PK was there, did not actually peek the boss of the Mist Cave. So we have very little knowledge currently on these objectives, but the team is solid.
Well, at this point, as a viewer standpoint, I think we're all hoping for either Bigen or Calbrina at King Queen Evelyn, just to throw everybody off since we got it.
Yeah, like you may think it's rude for it to be at the Ruby spot, but if you go up Lower Babel and you fight the vanilla Dr. Luge spot, you still get to see who your Ruby spot fight is. You don't get to peek that King Queen Evelyn unless you walk all the way through the hook route, so that would definitely be a very rude spot here. So let's see how Jeebus routes this shopping. Again, with Palom, you're gonna see the hunt for Sirens. If you didn't have Palom, we might see a little more direct, like, let me get my freebie, let me get my Sheila 1 check scheduled, but who doesn't want Quake? Oh, this is cheeky too, I like this. Sneaking a very quick peek at the first boss fight of Dwarf Castle.
I might have stayed in there to see if that was Gauntlet or Water Hag.
Yeah, well, Jeebus figured didn't want to deal with either. We know here in the booth, I apologize, I left this out for you when you got back Gambit. It is Water Hag in the Baron Inn, blocking a Sid. So we know that's the alt Gauntlet. Jeebus should also know. He did loot Baron at the start, so he's aware. And now so are you.
Gotcha, so nice fun Gauntlet at Dwarf Castle is always a...
Ooh, Sorcerer Robes in the Tomra shop. If you have the 30,000 GP to spare, that is a beautiful bit of gear to add to your Palom. Luca doesn't want Jeebus to leave. Stay and play with us. Having to actually burn an exit here instead of walking out. We did get Job Dwarf. Job Dwarf is a sports rider. PK already validated that for us. We'll see if Jeebus takes a look as well, just for confirmation.
So PK finding, and Jeebus about to find hourglasses down here in Tomra.
Ooh, and Star Veils are super convenient too. That is one of the guaranteed shop items if you're playing with safeties on, just because having a Source of Reflect is very nice. So they would be available over World somewhere, but now you don't have to hunt them down. Nothing crazy yet, Magius, except crazy how generous the seed has been, if that counts.
There you go, jeebus validating, showing us the Scorch Rider, so both runners validating the seed with the job work.
PK going to be our first racer here to give us insight into the free Feymarch item in the vanilla rat tail chest. Jeebus was the first underground, but hopped over by Dwarf Castle to do a little investigating. Undoubtedly free enterprise tournaments, right? Esports? This is esports, right? Gambit? This counts, right?
Yeah, this is esports. I will say it.
You cut out there. You'll say what?
Yep, I would definitely say this is an esport.
Okay. Ooh, Bacchus wine and silk webs down here in the Feymarch shop. Very lovely. Our tracker covering us, a Masamune in the chest, Edge's best katana, but there's no sign of an Edge. And there's a lot of stuff worth buying. I would be a little tempted.
Same here. I think I'd want to sell that right away, pick up enough Bacchus and silk webs to make it last. Try to prevent having to come back down to the Feymarch.
PK also going to peek these bosses. I would love for Baigan to be at the Leviathan spot. That would be pretty much my... All right, we got a Vanilla Asura and a Pain Man at Leviathan. Now, Leviathan, I believe, is tied for second, or he's in third for the highest physical attack in the game, and that means that Dark Knight has the highest, second or third highest Dark Waves in the game. You definitely don't want to deal with that without a lot of levels, or maybe an Eddie. I could go for an Eddie right about now.
Yeah, picking up Edward from, say, the Dwarf Castle check would be very good, because we can just get him down to 1 HP, let him auto-hide, and hopefully get out before he gets the Dark Wave off.
Yeah, while we're getting a little crossover from our runners, I'm gonna go to the spreadsheet. I want to know what that Pain Man at Leviathan is hitting for. Okay, those Dark Waves will do a minimum 1,131 damage and a maximum 1,305 damage. So, yeah.
Pretty much not happening right now.
I would love to see someone try that.
So we see PK just doing shop checks, coming straight back out to Dwarf Castle, not going to worry about the bosses yet. Jeebus heading up to do Pam with Spam.
Yeah, you know, we've mentioned things that we saw in these 3 underground towns, but did you notice what we didn't see, Gambit?
I know, I haven't seen the Pam.
Well, I was going to go ahead and say we didn't see sirens. So there is no quick way to get Quack on your Quack Kid yet. If sirens are for sale in the seed, they're going to be in either Upland Cave or Up on the Moon. So you're going to still have to work a little bit for the overworld. Again, with this team, there's nothing too threatening, but every one of these racers would have loved to have gotten Quake online already.
It does, however, since we do have the Tela, it opens up the possibility of trying to run ordeals real fast, especially if we find a quick Darkness Crystal. Maybe doing a D-Machine grind?
Oh yeah, anytime you got a Tela. And not just that, we did see Soma drops for selling Dwarf Castle. So Tela he loves a Soma drop. That going from 90 MP to 100 is so great for any grind that relies on him casting weak, just to bump it up from 3 casts per MP pool to 4. So the seed is definitely speaking to that a little bit. But, you know, if that Darkness Crystal's behind Pain Man, that's not happening for a while.
To answer your question, chat, the Pigtail will not give an adamant armor in this flag set. It will give a tier 7 item, such as Crystal Sword, Stardust Rod, something along those lines, but no adamant armors.
Yeah, the adamant armor just trivializes so much of the game that anyone who finds an early one can just steamroll the rest of it without issue. And with the development of this tournament, wanted to make things a little trickier on our racers. But yeah,
we see Plague is trying to invade Fabul today.
Shouldn't be too hard here. If you really wanted some bonus damage, you could flip that cane over to the Blizzard Sphere. Plague is a flying type enemy, and we'll take bonus damage from it. Alternately, if you're worried about your timer running out, you can do what we see Jeebus doing, knocking off his own Palom with a spell, lifing him up, getting a reset on that timer.
PK also got a quick jump off before Plague could cast count, and was able to get a recast of it once Cane landed.
Very nice. And with that Ice 2, PK cleans up the Plague. And that Zeus Rage by Tella, great use of being aware of your inventory. Tella may not have tier 2 spells, but the Zeus Rage, it just does its job, and they're both through pretty much neck and neck here. I'm really liking the sync on this seed.
And there's a Luca key, so we choose to see if either the runners goes down, checks to see what's down there right away, or if they're going to hold off and do a couple other checks first.
I wouldn't want to do that with, I wouldn't want to go for the boss check or the key item check with this team. You're probably going to have a rough time unless it ends up being like King, Queen, Evelyn. But what I do like with only 3 characters is the prospect of a really janky reflected kill trapdoor fight. That's always fun.
What is also always fun is a vanilla pan.
Delicious. So our racers will have... Actually, yeah, okay. They have minimized their visits to Fabul. If you wanted to full clear it, you would have had to have done 2 to Sylph Cave, 2 to Fabul, and they've each minimized it accordingly.
So it looks like Jeebus is going to go around and do some shopping that PK, I believe, has already done. PK heading straight to Baron to take on the infight.
Now, we did see Water Hag there earlier. This team is rather well armored and only going to take 3 hits here. It's kind of funny. You would actually probably do 400 damage in far fewer than 3 hits, but Water Hag has a script. You have to stay on script.
Again, another one of those spots where you find a boss you'd rather not have here just because of that script.
Jeebus very clearly wanting to wrap up these overworld shop checks. I don't know, I get a pan and I get nervous. I have bitten myself so many times on this flag set by leaving what could ultimately be a free character check hanging, just because a Fusoya is so transformative on this flag set. It's very character driven.
Well, at least we have a cane, but Valvalis is not going to be very fun here.
The nice thing about this spot, actually, is you're probably better off not breaking her spin. This spot does not get magic defense, so you can just land spell after spell here, and if she's in her tornado form, Blink's all you need. Tella knows it out the gate. So this is actually one of my favorite spots to see Valvalis. Oh, she doesn't even... I went to another spreadsheet. She does not even get physical defense while spinning here.
Okay, so take it back. Probably a good spot for Valvalis to be.
Yeah, she doesn't get physical defense or magic defense while spinning here. Just completely bupkis thanks to this being Yang's vanilla spot, which we know how low his magic defense is in vanilla.
In the meantime, Jeebus is actually giving us our first objective of the night, going to Miss Cave and taking on Ogopogo.
Great spot to see Ogopogo. We've mentioned how we've seen so many easy bosses in easy spots. That's a very nasty boss in an easy spot, so very nice to find there.
In the meantime, PK gets through Valvalis to go pick up their Sid and picks up a pass.
Great item to find. All of a sudden, you know, we may not even have to find the Darkness Crystal this seed. That does give us our backdoor into the Z fight. But with 2 boss hunts and a character and a key item hunt, I would be very shocked if the moon were fully haunted this scene.
Oh, we could always go with moon haunted, but our bosses are in the giant.
Oh yeah, that's true. Jeebus getting that info on Rosa in the bed. Jeebus, of course, has that knowledge that it is the alt gauntlet in the first boss fight of Dwarf Castle. It will not surprise me to see him try to delay that as long as possible. Well, not as long as possible, mind you. Long enough to get Quake on the kid, just so he can sweep all 5 fights very quickly. Especially if we find a curse ring to put on that Tella. You can just have your Palom go Quake, 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 Quake instantly at the start of each fight, which is a highly effective way to clear that alt gauntlet there.
So PK heading straight back over to Sylph, taking a look at the pan, and Jeebus, again, still finishing up shopping trips.
Sylph's give. Your prize for playing Bonka Monk is a shirt no one on this team can wear.
That'll be helpful if we find the Sand Ruby, but for right now, just extra money.
There are definitely seeds where an early heroine robe will save you from a very cruel fate, but not quite this time.
And Jeebus, in the meantime, is climbing Ordeal. Is going to get their Tella online.
Interestingly, he did not go and pick up that Sid yet. I mean, this team, I fully believe, can handle this at this point. The only real rude boss fight up here is the back attack one. But, you know, you can always be in for a nasty surprise on Ordeals.
I don't know, I'm kind of rooting for a Yang in the back attack spot, just because I love to kick around the world.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we found one of our boss fights.
So Ordeals is at least somewhat required.
Oh, yeah. And this is a great spot to find Baigan. This vanilla Mylon and Friends spot, it does not have pretty much any physical attack. The drains and the entangles from the arms are going to be the difficult part to handle here, but the actual physical attacks, swing all you want, Baigan. We don't care.
Jeebus using the buff command for Palom, raising the magic attack, knowing you only get 1 attack on Baigan's main body before he gets that wall up.
Yeah, that's about 1,800 damage from jumps. It will not surprise me to see this Fire 2 go ahead and sweep the rest of everything. Nope. Only 379 on the main body, so we may see those arms get regrown soon. Ah, nah, Kane got it. Another noteworthy thing is that Jeebus checked a few armor shops, but didn't find a cursed ring, so actually taking the time to keep that Tella down. Unlike some of the remakes of the game, Tella does gain pretty decent agility as he levels up, to where if he levels up with the rest of your team, you're going to be real annoyed at this Aromas fight if you want to anchor with him.
So PK turns into Pan, gets a rat tail from Sheila 2. Not really much we can do with it right now. Jeebus finding Lumicante in the back attack spot.
Yeah, this is one spot where having only 2 standing characters might be a little rough, but if you got a Blizzard Spear, Ruby can't really stand up to that. We are going to miss getting the XP on Palom, but 1 shot, that's all it takes. Goodbye, Ruby.
Yeah, Blizzard Spear definitely showing its worth right here.
So, 2 objectives down for Jeebus. PK knows, again, where that number 1 is, and the longer you delay doing it, the stronger you're going to be when you go to the Ogopogo fight. So, that's not really any cause for concern. Oh!
So remember earlier when I was talking about early darkness and the possible team machine grind?
We have we've got our Tella, we know where a Soma drop is, You can go pick up a 4th character in Baron Castle and a 5th on the Moon. It is very, very high temptation at this point.
And I know I've seen others in the shop, I just don't remember which one they were in, so...
Jeebus actually losing a little time here, knocking Kenatsu down to just this tiny little last bit of HP hiding in the shell. There we go. Turtle soup.
It's actually a great spot to find Kenatsu in just because of how low the HP is. That means at max that wave is going to be doing about, what, 20?
40 if you don't do any damage to it.
And to be honest, in that spot, if you're the only way you're not doing any damage to it is if you accidentally walked away from the controller during the cutscene and didn't get back in time. Yeah.
It could be like maybe you want Kenatsu to like we're worn out from fighting all these fights on the mountainside. We would love a nice shower. Kenatsu, please help us.
So the runner's high-fiving as Jeebus heads back down where deals. PK finding his Bigan fight up at the top. He's about to get rid of that objective.
So Jeebus does have a lot of options. That Darkness Crystal does put a grind on the table, puts another gated character on the table. Still hasn't been to Baron in yet, still has that pan hanging.
So the question should become, do you want to go grab that Sid first, or do you want to go check what's up on the moon first?
And don't forget your 2 freebies. I mean, we know what they are because of PK, but Jeebus has no idea yet. Picking up the Sid makes a lot of sense. Gonna get pass as well. Very intent to not let this Tela gain any more levels. I get the feeling that Jeebus has been bitten by this before with a like level 40 to 50 Tela who ends up with around 20 agility and just makes an absolutely garbage anchor for the rest of the team.
And I haven't seen any of their previous races, but judging how quickly they are putting Tela down would not surprise me. I also like the use of the Thor Rage there. I picked him up to take care of Odin and or Kenatsu. Now that Kenatsu's out of the pool, just go ahead and use him here to make sure you get that auto hit on Water Hack.
Yeah, it can be a little faster way to do it because Arcane's not back row glitched. Jumping takes a long time. It's just a quick and easy way to make sure that you land the required hit. Because Water Hack, 3 hits, any hit will do. And having Virus on his kid, Jeebus is going to do real good work on Val compared to the slightly slower fight we saw with PK a minute ago. Just knowing this spot doesn't have the magic defense and tearing through it. Also, I was wrong. That Kane is definitely back row glitched. We did see Dwarf Axes earlier. I saw someone selling. Unless I'm confusing this with another race. There've been a lot of races going on.
A lot of very good races that everybody's been trying to keep eyes on, so they all start bleeding together at one point.
Yeah, well, we definitely have an Ogre Axe, but we might have seen... No, I think I did see those Dwarf Axes sold on another race I was watching her think of it. Oh well. Mistakes were made. PK knocking Ruby into the deep ravine, Jeebus picking up Sid.
So PK about to pick up that Darkness Crystal and put them at 5 key items, same with Jeebus. Now we'll see what the runners decide to do next.
Jeebus is going to chase this pan now, going ahead to get these 2 checks. Of course, if you are currently planning, do I want to do a grind or not? Getting that Rosa, for instance, you get a Sand Ruby, boom, you get a Rosa. Slingshot a Rosa to level 65. You're going to have a good time. Of course, that's not the reward here, but it's definitely something that merits checking before you fly to the moon. Now, I wonder if either racer actually paid attention to those. Oh, okay. Jeebus has a Soma drop in his inventory. We see it pull up there with the key item menu. So we know he can get his Tella to 100 MP to make that grind a lot more easy.
Probably holding on to it right now to decide what type of grind they want to do, and you know, if they happen to come across a Fu, Soma drop much more useful on Fu than it is Tella.
Oh yeah, we talk about Tella, you know, you can get 4 weeks instead of 3. Well, on Fu, all of a sudden you can get 4 nukes instead of 3. It's definitely a step up in value. So going to end up with the twin tails for Jeebus as well after visiting Sheila 2. All of a sudden a hook is looking very appealing.
And PK heading straight to Basidia. Gonna go ahead and raise the lunar whale and probably be up to the moon.
And I'm sure Jeebus will be following very soon. Now we saw the Soma drop. Have we seen either, someone I think bought Ether 2's underground? Or am I, again, conflating seats? I think we saw some Ether 2 purchases.
Again, I know I saw them, I just don't remember if either runner picked them up.
Yeah, love to get a stack of Ethers on this flag set just to facilitate that grind.
So I guess the question is going to become, do we want to check the character first, or do we want to check the shop first? Because if the shop has sirens, then D Machine is not necessarily going to be as wanted.
Oh yeah, especially if it's just a grind that you're not as familiar with, one you've not practiced or done a whole bunch of times. There are definitely far easier options, to be sure. You can't get the value of a slingshot. And, by the way, we keep talking about slingshotting. You want to talk about slingshotting right quick, Gambit, and how the mechanics work in Free Enterprise?
Sure. If we have a full party and any member of the party is, I believe it's 10 levels below the median, or is it 5 levels?
It's just 5 now. There used to be 2 different tiers, but now it's just 5.
Gotcha. So even if it's 5 below the median, that character would get extra XP. I believe it's triple, so they can catch up to the rest of the party. So let's say you have a levels 15 to 20 party and then a level 1 character. You can slingshot that level 1, get them 3 times the experience, and all of a sudden they're not just levels 15 to 20, but it could even 30 or 40.
Yeah. And it is double for 5 levels behind. There used to be that second tier, which was triple for being 10 levels behind. And it's just so great for some of these characters that have obscene XP requirements to reach, you know, endgame abilities. So very nice to be able to get those. A little bit nerfed in 4.0. It was a little too strong back in the day. We do find a Porum on the moon. We didn't find sirens in the shop, kind of lackluster there. But we do now have a white mage who would really love a slingshot. Worse XP curve and spell learning levels than Rosa does, and much worse HP growth. So this is one of those situations where maybe you get Nuke on Palom and at the same time get a level 60 blah 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 Porum? Maybe.
Yeah, it's not the white mage you want, but it is the white mage we'll take.
Oh, this is a cheeky play by PK. Looks to be using one of these hourglasses. Gonna go hunt down the lunar hairdryer chest, these prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Meanwhile, Jeebus going right for that giant. We know what he's doing. That's the D-Machine grind incoming.
So with the trap chest PK is doing, this is actually a pretty decent way to slingshot that Porum as well. I mean, get 7 for the price of 4 here. Get some good experience right off the bat.
Oh yeah, this is a fantastic source. If we did not have the Tella, I would very much consider making this play, because we've no sirens. If they are in the seed or in Cave Evelyn, we have no hook. This is a fantastic way to get a big chunk of experience. But we do have the Tella, so I think Jeebus is about to send his character's levels into the stratosphere.
It's all about the gamble. Right now, PK's gambling. They can get enough experience from this one fight to be able to get through everything back on Earth. Whereas jeebus is going to go ahead and take the D machine and go high.
Misses that first life glitch. Moves it a little too far to the left. Doesn't quite get the first one. And I see Brash Volksdragon in chat asking about the D machine encounter. Well, you know, we have some excellent guides on the Discord for that. If you've not joined the Free Enterprise Workshop, you should do so. There are both charts and guides explaining how to find the D machine encounter, and then once you're in it, how to actually capitalize on it. So yeah, take a look-see, join the Discord, and check those guides, resources, and assorted pins in the Newbies Corner.
And if you're like me, you have the D machine encounter printed out and posted right next to your monitor.
Oh, only a gold apple from that chest. Little sad. We do get Quake on our kid. We got some levels on Porum. So a great little infusion of power for PK. But he needs to capitalize on it very soon, or before jeebus gets this D machine grind going.
Well, at this point, with PK doing that mini grind, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back underground and head to Dwarf Castle. Again, he doesn't know it's all Gauntlet there, but with Quake Kid online, getting through that Gauntlet is going to be no problem. And jeebus looks like they have found the right fight right off the bat.
First,
to be taking out the Searchers.
Yeah, and if anyone knows, yeah, there are multiple Searcher fights that you can find. Some of them will give you horsemen rather than D machines. But if anyone in this chat knows it on site, it is Swimmy Leone who memorized it for RPG Limit Break 2019.
Yeah, I'd more often than not used to get the horseman fight all the time. That's actually why I printed out the bracket and put it next to my monitor, so I don't get that anymore.
The absolute worst is when you land on a tile that then, say your D machine fight could be either on the second one or the third fight after that, and then the second one is the horseman fight. It's like, I kind of want to get a revision of this chart, please. Just tell me to reset. I'll just take the reset. Don't get my hopes up. Don't build me up. D machine baby, just let me. Okay, enough of that.
In the meantime, PK doing exactly what I thought he'd do, hitting straight to Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, getting that Quake on Palom. Now, PK, I don't believe, had scoped out this boss fight, but he's going to be very thankful for these levels right here.
And has jeebus not gotten the party set up right to get... Oh, no, there goes the life glitch.
Now, the thing I'm curious about here is just how many Ethers and how many Cure 2s jeebus has stockpiled here. Because that Cure 1 from Porum is not going to be doing a whole lot of work to help keep the party's HP topped off. Gonna have to be relying on either Cure 2 potions or actually taking some of Tella's turns to heal up the team. But that looks like a big stack of Ether 2s. Should be good pretty much either way.
Yeah, definitely at least 2 Ether 2s that I saw right there, so. So in the meantime, PK is already 2/3 or 2/5 of the way through this Gauntlet fight, just quaking away.
So jeebus is doing something very subtle here, yet very important. Both before taking Tella's turn and then immediately after his turn, he is taking a moment to make sure ATB gets filled on every character in the team to keep that order going. Really looking to... jeebus' setup here really wants Porum to hit the Searcher to just do very minimal damage, and then Tella go immediately after with that weak and get all these all this damage and life pots queued up. Eating a second fire here for the sake of getting a triple, it looks like.
It's not necessarily a bad option, especially if you can pull it off. Keeps you from having to do an extra dragon.
2 Ether 2s to go. Let's see, 50 Cure 2s! Oh my goodness, Jeebus spared no expense. Okay, I get what's happening here. Jeebus is looking to maximize the MP that he has for Tella by sacrificing the HP with the extra fires. It's something I've had to do before. It's where, just depending on what you have in your item stack, it can be the optimum way to distribute those resources. It can be a little slower, just depending on how frequently you have to stop and heal, but, oh, by the way, bonus round. And an objective complete.
Yep. There's our Palom. So, objective number 2 out of the way from Dwarf Castle.
So who do you ditch here, Gambit?
I think I ditched Sid.
Likewise. PK making the same call we would.
Yeah, so you've got Tella, you can keep him as the anchor, get rid of the Sid, take the extra Quack Kid, get him online, you got double Quack, you're golden.
Oh yeah. Although, need to get these actions in quickly. D-Mist, well, you do get the nice little break once the D-Mist transforms, but that D-Mist went right for the throat of some of PK's weaker options here. So now, this may give PK a subtle advantage. So Jeebus knows that that is the alt gauntlet there, and even with these upcoming levels, knows it is going to be kind of an awkward and slow fight to deal with. So I wonder if Jeebus fades it, maybe chases Moon options, Feymarch options, all these things, rather than actually clearing Dwarf Castle.
And Jeebus is going to have the levels for it coming from this Giant. I also wouldn't be surprised to see them go ahead and complete the Giant, again looking for that Duke Palom.
That is always a dilemma when you get your D-Machine done, and you have a character hunt. Well, and you've not seen Mist Dragon. There are at least 2 speculative things. But as we can tell from the spooky hand on PK's side, neither of them are going to be up here. Calbrina might, though.
As the best hand sprite in the game, hands down, don't happen.
And the reward around Luca's neck. We'll know it soon. Don't forget your D-Mist, though. Sometimes you get a really exciting item and you just forget.
Oh, I've done that before.
Package. Well, it does gate a boss location, and you know, if there's a foo there, maybe you're tempted to do it. But it's really hard to spend the time on that check, even when you have a boss hunt left.
True, but at the very least, it does give you that push to, oh yeah, I just got a package. Let me go check D-Mist real fast.
You will not forget D-Mist if you get a package drop at the same time. Absolutely. Well, I have lost count of D-Machines. I mean, if you're keeping count in the chat, well done. To get Porum up to her highest, up to learn Holy, you're gonna need to do 11 D-Machines total, including life glitches. She is getting double here. Palom, I believe, new virus. He actually needs 21 because he's not going to be behind the median. So I think we are going to see Palom get very close to nuke here, and I think Porum is going to end up at like level 60. It's going to be kind of absurd, her levels, with how many D-Machines Jeebus is doing.
PK turning in that D-Mist, getting the Baron key from there. So we'll see where he decides to go next.
Looks like wants to clear this Mist Cave fight while here. Baron, we did see that first boss. I've forgotten who it was, but I don't think it was Calbrina. So there are still 2 more bosses there that could be that Calbrina required. And of course, 2 more key item checks, which could be that Earth Crystal. there goes the final Ether 2 of Jeebus. So we may see 3 more D machines and then the final week on the Searcher, if I had to guess.
So PK takes out Octoman and Miss Cave. Did not take down the other Palom, so did get some XP on him, but should still be below the median, still be in slingshot range.
Oh, and speaking of the package, sees a Cecil. Not resetting.
I wonder if it's possible he's like, I might take the Cecil, just if, you know, Calbrena happens to be there, it's worth it.
And we get to see the very rare green flame burning mist as Rydia lays waste to her own town.
Kind of a role reversal here. So in the vanilla game, Cecil burns down the village mist with the package. In this game, Cecil is in the burning town that Rydia is burning.
So this is something that I honestly expected to see a lot more in the 2v2 in the 2-win 2-loss part of the matches. Everyone's going for a win. I thought we'd see a whole lot more of these speculative plays, and I really do like seeing this from PK. It's one of those things where I know I need a win. What can I do that my opponent probably won't want to do? And going package to take a Hail Mary pass at that Calbrena. I'm glad to see someone actually taking those drastic measures.
In the meantime, Jeebus is definitely done with the grind, uses Tella to lit 2 himself, put him on the ground, and then jumps with Kane to finish off the fight.
So this puts PK on a pretty major clock. 39 levels on the Palom. Yeah, that's a tidy sum. There's Nuke all the way on the Kid, 30 levels on each of them, and Porum is level 62. 62, again, that's a very beefy child.
Well, you know, we want the child to learn everything they need to learn. They've learned it.
Like, let's see, I missed her HP, I want to see that max HP. Uh-oh. Run!
1868 for the max HP there.
You know, at level 62, that's still really, really sad. So right there was actually a little added danger because those beamers do percentage-based damage. And with your team suddenly having this massive infusion of health... Oh, no, it's 2,300 on her. 2,300 on her. Okay.
Oh, sorry, it was 1,800 on the power. And a free fight at Elements.
Ooh, you know? Nah, doing the slingshot on Porum was still the right idea. This is kind of a funny fight, though, because theoretically, you could maybe orchestrate some kind of... Oh my god. I wonder if it would have been better here to Hourglass, weak the officer, queue up a life plus life 2 option on the officer, because when you bring the officer back with life 2, it'll say charge, but the soldiers aren't doing anything. There could have been a better grind option here.
But in the meantime, Jeebus just says, no thank yous, cast stone, get rid of everybody in one fell swoop.
There are those Ether 2s for sale in Aggart. PK picking up a set. Yeah, PK definitely on a clock here. Luckily, though, if PK does these other options, like, Jeebus is giving PK a little more leeway by full clearing the Giant. That's for sure. But not a whole lot.
And PK has the knowledge that Wyvern was our boss behind the package and not Calbrena. And Wyvern's not going to be in a very nasty spot today.
Wait, are we about to see a heroin robe level 62 for him?
I do believe we are about to see a heroin robe, samurai's bow wielding for him.
I mean, she probably still does more damage with Holy, but look, when you have a level 62 Porum, you kinda have to roll with it, right?
It looks like PK is now going to take his level 1 Paladin Cecil up to the Giant and try to slingshot him.
Hey, so we're getting another D Machine. I think this is actually really good for PK. And if PK does try to full clear Giant, well, we see something that Cecil can one-shot here. The Karate Master in the final spot of the Giant.
And that can definitely save PK some time full clearing, especially if he goes checks the element spot first and does do the grind via Life 2 on that officer instead of doing an actual D Machine.
And get cooped, yes, it was a Palom start. We had a Palom and Kane to start with. Very strong opening party. Ooh, and PK is going to go right for this fight. Now, again, if you just life glitch the captain here, this team may go ahead and be strong enough to... Oh, no! Somebody do it!
And that would be the ultimate grind. It looks like PK might have thought better of it, might be doing it.
Oh yeah, I thought, wait a minute. This could be huge for PK. Now, you're not going to get a level 62 Porom by doing this, but you may get enough XP to push forward anyway. And if there's a... Let's see. I'm waiting on the carry. Oh! If there had been a Fu there, I would have been even more excited. Eddie strats are spectacular, but when you've already done your grind...
Well, here's the question for you. When Jeebus was keeping that Tella down and uses an anchor, do you ditch the Tella for the Edward and keep the Edward anchor?
No. No, you don't. I mean, you could. I wouldn't.
And Jeebus doesn't either.
Yeah. But Jeebus has all the levels in the world. The only question now is, where do you go to take advantage of them? We still, here in the booth, we need to find... We know we haven't seen an Earth Crystal or a Calbrena. Everything else is accounted for. But the seat is wide open.
There you go, PK getting the double life glitch off on the officer.
Definitely going to be a bit faster than that D Machine grind was. Not setting up the life 2, though, but that's fine, that's fine. Maybe that was a little bit speculative. It's opting to weak instead of stone, these, though. Wanting to get every ounce out of here.
I do not blame them at all for that.
Jeebus, by the way, very intent on keeping that Tella down.
It's like, not even gonna risk it, even though it's all Gauntlet. Just kill the Tella off before we get in there. Don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and again, he knows what's here. There we go. We see the Palom being put up at the top slot. That is slot 2. Tella's in slot 1. Palom will go first this fight, I believe. And we should see quack, 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 quack.
Ooh, PK did not get the life glitch on that second soldier. Put it on the wrong one.
Hey, it's fine. The captain here gives the vast majority of the XP. And having gotten the double on it, we're going to see real impressive levels on Cecil here. So, should be fine going forward. $233,000. Gets the tier 3 elemental spells on Palom number 1. Palom number 2 should be slingshotted here. Cecil, boom, level 43 out the gate. And we'll get to one-shot the Yang fight as long as he lives until that second kick.
And 31 for the second Palom. So yeah, a little bit of a slingshot on them.
Yeah. Again, not to the degree that Jeebus did, but it may be enough. This may be just the right amount for the job at hand.
Yeah, especially if we end up having Earth Crystal hiding somewhere behind the Moon Boss. You'll be able to get the rest of your levels there.
PK, you don't get a free heal before the next fight. Uh-oh. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt real bad.
And there's the reset.
It's not Tower Key we're looking for, Ceridian. We're looking for the Earth Crystal. We need to do Zot, not Babel. But we've not seen Calbrena. So we're in the dark just as much as you are.
Now, at this point, with them holding that Luca key for so long, do you want to see Calbrena down there behind a pretty much worthless key item, just to see if they forget to check the boss?
I mean, I still kind of want it to be a King Queen Evelyn, but that would work. Oh gosh. CPU fight. CPU location tied with the Bahamut location for highest physical attack in the game, as this Yang has painfully demonstrated right there for PK.
In the meantime, jeebus is through to 2 fights Dwarf Castle, gets the ghostly hand, going to take the crystal.
Spooky hand, spooky hand. It's actually pretty nice. Did not get to keep the entire team alive, but kept the lower level Palom alive. So gonna get a nice little extra 150,000 XP infusion on him. So if I had to pick one of the children to keep alive there, it would probably have been that one.
Yeah, that'll help catch up, get them back to about the same levels. And so you'll be getting about the same from any further grinds.
Yeah, Frost, it's like Wubear says, it's mostly free. You do only need to get one hit with a Cecil. Like, one punch for 150,000 XP. And, of course, we know it's Eddie. We could have seen a Fu here, and then PK would be anticipating a 3-nuke plus 1 Holy Aromas fight. So, I definitely see the point of making that check. And we do see PK swapping the Tela for the Edward, like you were suggesting earlier. I think even a base Eddie is a little too fast, but, you know, you do you.
I mean, it might be a situation where we know DKC is down the Fey March. He might be wanting to pull down to that Edward just for that situation, just in case.
That's true, but we do have a level 40-something Cecil now, so it's not as big a concern as it was earlier.
True, yeah, their Cecil should easily be able to tank those hits, but...
Yeah, well, we'll be able to tank 2 of them, and then you just need to make sure you get a heal off before the third one comes out.
The Strength Ring is a nice find in the Baron armor shop.
I like that our racers have re-synced up. Of course, we have some party differences here. PK does have the extra kid, which, for the Z fight, should speed that up as long as we get ourselves to nuke levels. But jeebus has the massive level advantage for now, and will be clearing out all the interim bosses quite a bit faster.
Yeah, it'll be interesting at this point if anyone actually does go back for Rose at any point.
PK turning encounters on again, very intent on keeping his anchors on the floor. I believe jeebus is still down from that Dwarf Castle sitch.
I believe so. I don't think jeebus healed up. And it was CPU in the Baigan spot.
I hope we get some swag rocks here. Can we get some swag rocks? No, it's only Quake! Very disappointed.
Oh, maybe jeebus just doesn't want to have some kind of accidental charm happen to his pal and meteor the whole party.
Hey, look. CPU doesn't have that ability.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Hey, no, let's see a big doll from a Calbrena. Let's see some Magus sisters. Let's see some charmed Paloms.
Nope, just a couple of Dark Imps on the throne today.
Yeah, one quack will clean this up in a hurry.
Yeah, we do have the multiple people on the throne acting as one person, just not the multiple people we wanted.
Hey, 3 imps in a trench coat? I mean, look, we've had weirder people claim to be, have the divine right of kings. Insert joke about the Habsburg dynasty here.
And so we find Iridia here in Baron. I feel like neither of our runners are going to take her.
I mean, she's a level 1 Iridia is a better anchor than Eddie by far. She has a base agility of 4, so anyone with 11 agility or higher will be at relative agility 1 as fast as can possible, getting a turn every tick. But of course, Eddie does have that other utility. Oh, and Jeebus has Tella. Blech, never mind. Maybe PK makes the swap, we'll see.
So Jeebus already through, making his way down to the Baron pot. About to show us what our key item down here is. Right now, we're just really looking for an Earth Crystal.
Well, and some dolls. Oh, but there's the hook. Very nice find for a few reasons. One, obviously we have 2 tails we can turn in. 2, neither racer has peaked the top of Lower Babel, so if we do take the full hook route, we can see that there. 3, could always have dolls at the King, Queen, Evelyn, or the Ruby spots. And 4, this is more for PK than for Jeebus. If sirens are for sale there, that can help mitigate a few of PK's, a little bit of the level disparity that we see between these two.
Oh yeah, sirens are in Eblin's shop. PK picks up a couple, and if we need to go to the moon to find that Earth Crystal, be able to do a couple gold dragons and catch up in levels very quickly.
Yeah, we do have the Mad Doctor set up in his basement laboratory. Again, here's another subtle thing that I like, and that's how Jeebus does have his Talum up in the first slot to be able to start every fight with either a Quake or a Nuke as fits the situation.
Yeah, so a little bit of a divergence here. Jeebus ran straight back down into Baron to check out the basement, finds Dr. Luge, or Dr. Cutscene, as some people like to call him. Meanwhile, PK is going to go launch the hovercraft, go ahead and check on those tails.
Nice little run buffer here into, queuing up Lightning 3. So, fun little fact for viewers, be careful. You may think that Dr. Luge has a Thunder weakness based on doing bonus damage with Thunder Claws and Lightning Arrows, but it's just that he counts as a robot in this form, and those do bonus damage to robots. So, not going to actually get bonus damage from the Lightning 3 here, but with how strong this kid is, it'll probably one-shot or come close anyway.
Yeah, within about 1,300. That's pretty dang close.
Just a ribbon. Not as exciting in Final Fantasy IV as they are in some other iterations of the game. They still protect from a wide litany of status effects, but there are usually other ways to handle the foes that use those on you. And it doesn't give stat boosts. Womp.
So just a Bahamut summon from the Rat Tail turn in, which is not going to be of any use for us since we just got rid of Bridia.
And the Pink Tail, not shabby. The White Robe is the best White Mage robe, gives plus 15 to the stat, has ridiculously good physical and magical defense. And both teams are rocking Porums here.
So it's really interesting where they route from here. Looks like PK's heading back to Baron to check the Odin spot. You can see where Jeebus goes. If either of them goes into Cave Evelyn looking for either those sirens, in PK's case, or to check the bosses there.
Yeah, because And Jeebus' team is in such good shape here. Probably doesn't care too much about the character. But it is one of those things that you don't want to leave that lingering in the back of your mind, especially if you did have such a great D-Machine fight. Like, don't leave those little threads hanging for your opponent to come back on you, I would think.
And you see Jeebus going straight down to Evelyn and is going to check those bosses immediately.
The other big thing I can see Jeebus doing, of course, is I would pick up a Fu, even at this point, even with the grind done, just to have that extra source of nuke. We do find Sirens for sale, so that may be good news for PK, just depending on how each racer routes. If PK finds those final objectives first and needs just those few more levels for the spells, that can make a huge difference at the Zeromus fight.
As it is, Jeebus has the levels. All he needs is that Earth Crystal and that Calbrenda, and he can be head on Z and probably have a pretty easy time of
it. Well, okay, it's not a Fu, which at this point maybe it has to be in Zot, I believe. So Fu and Edge hanging out in the Tower of Zot. That Earth Crystal, you can pick up a Fu at the end of it whenever we find it. And that's a Golbez. But that Jeebus is doing the cutscene makes me think he's going to run down here and check for dolls instead of just resetting out.
Again, I agree with that play. Again, this would be the one spot you really can't get a good look at. You can't see anywhere else from. Did drop the save back at the very beginning before even going down to Cape Evelyn, so if it's not dolls, it's going to reset all the way back out. No harm, no foul.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure Jeebus is breathing a sigh of relief as to not knowing they don't have to take care of Golbez at all this seed. So thinking about it, that's Golbez and Wyvern both out the pool. What's the worst boss that's kind of left here?
That's a good question. There aren't that many. And it kind of depends on where you fight them as well. All right, that's elements. We do see a quick reset here. Jeebus's Earth options now are to do a keyless lower Babel, to go do the Fame Arch fights, or to go Silk Cave, which is where PK has decided to fly.
Or you can choose to fade all three of those at this point and just go straight into the moon and check the bosses there.
That is definitely tempting. Again, with levels like these, the moon holds no terror for Jeebus. But we're getting a little sync again. Again, PK hasn't done all the checks Jeebus does, but is a couple steps ahead on the current one.
Depending on the key item down here, if it's Earth Crystal and or Calbrenda, PK might be pretty much in a dead tie with Jeebus. Otherwise, I would give him the advantage to Jeebus just because of the levels.
In fact, that would probably be the worst thing for PK. If this is, say, Earth Crystal and Dolls, a huge advantage to Jeebus going forward. PK didn't find those Sirens and doesn't have the spells quite yet on his kids to trivialize Zeromus with a pure Reflect strat.
Yeah, best thing for PK right now would be that Earth Crystal hiding behind some kind of chain that starts at the D-Lunar spot on the moon to get that experience and then rolling around from there.
But finally at the bottom of this cave, gonna get the key item peek, gonna probably see a boss peek. Both of them know they're hunting Calbrena. Legend Sword. We don't have an adamant to go with it.
And PK resets before checking the boss.
That bad reflex, bad. And you see him load the same save, knowing he does want to peek the boss, still hunting those Calbrena. So those things where you kind of like smack your left hand for hitting your reset button. Oh!
PK is probably going to have some choice words for himself when he sees to fight.
You know, you can choose to have choice words for resetting, but you should give yourself the credit for then loading the exact same save.
Meanwhile, Jeebus, with the levels, his one plate gets right through it and it's all the way back up now.
And now it comes down to one thing and one thing alone, that Earth Crystal. We currently have access to the Feymarch bosses, Single Dip Tower, everything on the moon. So depending on which path each racer takes, I think will determine the outcome of this. If they go the same direction, advantage to Jeebus for sure, unless it's behind a lot of bosses and PK gets the double nuke action going on. If they split off, it'll be whoever guesses correctly.
So in this position, if I'm Jeebus, I go ahead and worry about full clearing Earth, taking care of those Feymarch bosses, checking the tower. Don't leave anything down here hanging. In PK's position, needing the levels, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go straight to the moon and start clearing up there.
It's definitely a tricky thing. I think this is one of those situations where if you have studied your opponent's prior 4 matches, any other practice seeds they've done to try to get an idea of how they play, you probably want to try to play into that. Both these racers now have done most of their grind. They've embraced the blue planet, neither one going moon. And I wonder if either one was metagaming their foe when making this decision.
And our tracker error pointing out to us that is actually key item number 10 for both of them. So not really so much helpful for Jeebus, but for PK, definitely going to be giving that double XP now.
Oh yeah, very much so. And pretty much all the bosses we have left, except for a couple of moon ones, give really great experience. Yeah, Cecil's wanting a lightsaber, which is kind of like the bare minimum you really want. Like, on the Starvation Seed, you can make do with an Ice Brand or an Ogre Axe. Go Team Axe Knight. But lightsaber is really where you start seeing how he separates himself from Kain. Oh, PK, you gotta commit. You gotta commit. Make up your mind. No waffling. There we go. There we go. There, you could see the doubt in his mind as he nearly ran back off the well. But in this situation, where you have only the one objective left, which, oh yeah, PK did also beat that Calbrena fight. So one objective left, you gotta pick away and go. No second guessing yourself. Roll with it, and you just gotta hope for the best.
Yeah, an hour 14 into this race, I don't feel like either runner feels like they're behind. They've got to both be feeling pretty confident with where they're at. We've got 10 key items. We're down to just hunting for that Earth Crystal. You've got to feel like you're in a good spot.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what this is going to come down to now. Again, our racers, except for minor crossovers, took the exact same route through the sea. This is the first real big divergence we've seen. PK going moon, Jeebus sticking out to finish off the Earth. This is going to determine it, and I think this is great for PK. I think, even though he doesn't know this, just taking a different route was what he needed to help make up this level disparity that gives Jeebus an otherwise pretty sizable advantage.
So Sheila says, I'll show you Vanilla Pan, and Octoman up at top of the tower says, I'll one-up you with Vanilla Tower Key.
I swear, the top of tower always has Tower Key or Darkness Crystal. Just, those are the 2 items that are there.
Jeebus taking advantage, saying, oh, Tower Key? Sure, I'll do Tower Room on my way down.
See another Lunar Sparkle here. None of them will be a problem at this spot.
So you've held in. So I believe the only lunar boss we haven't seen yet is the Demoners.
PK going right for density, heading down to floor 7 of the moon. There's a spot here with 2 key items, another one's by it with another, and then of course the Ogopogo and Wyvern spots just a small hike away. One tricky thing of having this many mages, though, is finding enough gear to go around for all of them.
Yeah, sometimes it's sacrificing, saying, okay, you get this hat, but you get this shirt. And hope for the best there.
Going right for the double check at the... Ooh, this is nice. Mylon Z here is not going to be too much of a threat at all. Weak to fire, weak to curatives, weak to holy, and also being undead, that Porum is going to take very nicely reduced damage from the punches. Her brother's not so much, but she's actually in pretty safe shape here.
Meantime, Jeebus has gotten back to the bottom of the tower. Going through the cutscene, we're about to see what we get from the super cannon room.
I mean, whoever gets that Earth Crystal first pretty much runs away with this at this point. Just a glass helmet, so all that tower for naught except for a little extra XP. And Jeebus not heading to Feymarch. Finally giving up on the blue planet. I mean, that Dark Knight Cecil fight's pretty much free at these levels. 200,000 XP is a thing of beauty for this team. Getting closer and closer to Nuke and Holy on the kids. Did not get those sirens, though, that Jeebus saw and didn't need.
No, never even checked Cave Evelyn.
More divergence, though. Jeebus going for Cave Bahamut. And PK getting a lovely Excalibur for his Cecil, but no Earth Crystal.
Now 2 Holy Swords, one for Cecil, one for Edge. Doesn't really do as much good for right now.
This is also a really logical spot for PK again, just because of the XP available at these spots. The Wyvern, D-Lunar, and Ogopogo spots, and Peldim all give well over 6 figures at this point. The Plague and Bahamut spots will not, so prioritizing these locations is really great. We see that those kids are very close to getting their spells.
Jeebus showing his Maggot Sisters at Cave Bahamut tonight.
Well, we do got the Quake, we have a ton of HP to go around, and the magic power at this spot's not all that great just because of how strong Mega Nuke is on its own.
I like the play here by Jeebus. It's equipping Sid with the Samurai bow and the I saw the arrows and I just forgot their name.
Probably mute arrows if you went with Samurai bow. That would do the quadruple damage here.
Oh no, it wasn't the Samurai bow, it was the Elven bow and Samurai arrows.
Okay.
That's what I'm missing.
Gotcha, yeah. Elven bow, strong versus mage types, including the sisters. PK, by the way, sticking to damage spells here, froze them with an hourglass, but sticking to damage spells instead of any insta-kills or even the weak spell, which I think at least one of these Palums knows.
Both Palums actually learned weak after the previous fight.
Gotcha. But you know, whatever gets the fight done, you're gonna even get a life glitch off to get a little more XP out of this lesser spot. 93,000 ain't shabby.
There's Medio on both kids.
Yeah, a Cure 4 on Porum. Sand Ruby.
Little too late.
Yeah, not taking Rosa at this point. You only need 2 more levels on all your kits, I think. Well, you need 4 on Porum if you want Holy, but you don't necessarily need that when you have 2 of the other kids nuking. Which we should get after this Ogopogo fight.
Jeebus taking short work of the Maggot Sisters, gets the Adamant for the trouble, and resets right out of it.
And yeah, Porum, the white shirt does give undead resistance. There are a few other pieces of gear that do that as well, so the white robe will definitely do that. Right. Now we finally have a lunar fight that is not free. This Bomb is about to hit, and hit hard.
Notice who the real threat is, takes out the white mage immediately.
Yeah, her ability to cast Blink would be very, very important here. Zerking Cecil, I don't think gets this job done, because he's about to be the only one left standing.
The PK looks like they're going all in instead of trying to use a curative item or bring somebody back up, casting Ice 3 on Mon Mon.
Oh, the Ice 3 was already cute. But now it's just down to one very beefy Paladin and one very angry Bomb, and the beefy Paladin takes it, but no XP for the kids. Admittedly, this spot you'll lose out on a lot of XP because it's split between the Mom Bomb and the Baby Bombs, so it's not too great a loss. And only a spoon for the reward.
So far, Moon is completely haunted unless this Pale Dim spot has something that we can use.
Well, we still have the Wyvern check. And
True,
if it's not there, well, how about those Feymarch fights? We had an Asura at Asura and a Pain Man at Leviathan, right?
That is correct.
Mr. Jeebus is about to tear down this evil wall. It doesn't really stand a chance against these levels, of course. And I can't see PK leaving the moon after doing this Wyvern spot unless it is the Earth Crystal. So this is, like, again, you hate to call a race before things happen, but Jeebus's levels are absurd from that grind. So this Earth Crystal is kind of PK's last hurrah, unless he does a Galaxy Brain play and leaves the moon after this.
Meantime, Jeebus taking down the wall, about to show us what's here.
Oh! Resetting out of a Crystal Sword! I mean, no Cecil, but oh.
Jeebus never took the Cecil, never checked the package. I mean, if PK goes there, they'll be very happy, but Jeebus not so much.
This is a great fight for PK, by the way. This Cecil with the Excalibur is going to dish out tons of damage to Dark Elf. This spot has very low magic attack. The only problem is you're only getting partial XP here again, so not so good for the kids' levels.
The Dark Elf missing the week, which is always nice to see.
And we have a Piggy Pally tearing this elf apart.
We always love to see the Piggy Pallies.
You know, it's reduced XP, but it's still 6 figures, so that is one Palom Nuke. The other one didn't quite make it. And is this the Earth Crystal?
To the Feymarch we must go.
PK doesn't know that. Still has 2 boss fights left on the moon. And Jeebus is going to be clearing these spots so quickly. PK really has to hurry here, has to clear these other 2 spots super quickly, or again, Galaxy Brain it back to Earth, one or the other.
Yeah, PK, even if he does clear these spots very quickly, has to also Fade Tower, go straight to that Feymarch.
And yeah, by the way, Moon, completely haunted. I mean, there's a Crystal Sword, an Excalibur, a Same, a Spoon. Not a single gating item. No Twin Harp. Oh my god. It could not even just be Earth Crystal and Feymarch. It could be Earth Crystal behind Twin Harp, which would be so nice.
And that's what I'm hoping for right now. Let's have a vanilla Earth Crystal tonight.
Yeah. Baka pointing out in chat, by the way, that PK is going to get this Crystal Sword, and we'll get to keep it. That's going to send PK's damage into overdrive here, and may have swung things back in his favor at this point. Big thing for PK will be not to do Keyless Tower. If PK does Keyless Tower, it'll be back in Jeebus's court.
So, what are we hoping for at this point? Are we hoping that we have our progression behind that Asura, or are we hoping it's behind DKC?
I mean, DKC is the easier fight. With these, each team has someone above 3,500 HP. The maximum you could eat from 3 waves there is 39,015. I mean, 3,915 if it max rolls all 3 hits. It will not max roll all 3 hits, so everyone is pretty much set to survive that.
Love the play by Jeebus, resetting out of the two chests there after seeing they were not Earth Crystal.
I mean, yeah, Jeebus only needs the one item, doesn't need levels. Why heal up between fights when you can just hit your reset button? Woobear, that sounds like a really good question for Simbu. I would actually think this would actually be prime territory for some kind of a Unihorn strats. The thing is that I'm not even sure PK does end up getting nukes and holies on all his characters. So I really think we're going to see Crystal Sword Zerker strats versus full Reflect strats.
So I know we have one pal who has nuke already. The other one, if he goes to Cable Hammer, which he is, should pick it up from here.
Earth Crystal's in Feymarch, but if it's behind the DKC, you're not keeping all your kids alive in that fight. It's not happening.
You might be able to get one of them with the life after the third wave, but not both.
Yeah. Or, no. I was going to think if you put Porum in the top slot and did a very quick Cure 4 on everyone, but even then, she doesn't get another turn before 2 more waves come out. And again, PK on that clock, Jeebus clearing things so quickly here.
Yeah, Jeebus down to 2 checks here on the moon to PK's 1.
The good news for PK is that the, well, Mom Bomb fight, Jeebus is just going to tear through, but the Dark Elf fight does have at least a phase change and a cutscene in the middle, so that does buy PK a little bit of time.
And there you see that Crystal Sword Cecil doing work. 4,500 damage to the middle sister right off the bat.
But this spot showing its attack power. Porum not getting that Zerk off. She withstood a punch pretty nicely from Mylon Z given his undead status, but the rest of the lunar enemies not being so kind.
And then the reflected wall hitting Porum to prevent him from being able to cast any type of curative spell on her.
Well, the nukes and the Crystal Sword are gonna do work. I think PK didn't realize that his Porum got walled. I just queued up a Cure 4 on her. Oh, it was on the full party. Okay, that's fine. It would have been real bad to do the single target reflect just to heal the Magus Sisters that much.
Well, PK unintentionally getting a little bit of a Magus Sister grind with Sandy being rezzed.
That's actually kind of good for PK. May not have been on purpose, but actually pretty nice. This isn't the highest XP spot, but every little bit will help get PK over that hump.
Now with Jeebus beelining it to the Wyvern spot, we've got a real close race on our hands here.
Well, Cindy drops. No more spells coming. Queuing up the quacks. Hopefully Sandy drops here. You do not want to see a charm effect go off. Okay, good, good, good.
Mindy accidentally firing herself.
And there we go. PK has finished off the moon. Porum does not get holy. The other Palom does get the second nuke, though. And we are about to be neck and neck heading into Feymarch. This is going to be a ridiculously close race.
Yeah, at this point, it's all going to come down to, does PK fade tower? If he goes tower first, it's his Jeebus to lose. If he goes straight to that Feymarch, he's still got a chance.
Absolutely. And it may even depend on the order each racer does the Feymarch fights. If either one does Asura first, she's going to be a slower fight. It's only 23,000 HP, which is negligible for these teams, but you still have to do a little bit of setup to make sure that she doesn't fully heal herself. It's going to be the slower fight. But if you take the slower fight, you get the Earth Crystal first, more power to you. PK will be headed underground here. Let's see which way he flies.
Now, I forgot PK actually got a little bit of a boost here in this Dark Elf fight when they did it. They had the Excal Cecil, which made that fight a lot easier, whereas it's a little bit of a slog for Jeebus, but he gets through.
This has been an amazing race. Like our racers have been so close start to finish. Each one went down a little bit of rabbit hole. Each one got a little bit of benefit from it that caught things up for them on the flip side. But Jeebus learns the moon is haunted, exiting out, but PK is already in Feymarch. The dangerous thing here would be if it is a Twin Harp that leads to Earth Crystal, because that could then tempt PK into going back up to the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, and since we know that tower is vanilla tower key, we cut for a long cutscene back down.
Yeah. PK is going to be showing us the power of this Crystal Sword Zerking Cecil, buying another stack of Bacchus one.
It looks like PK doesn't have any cabins. He's been relying solely on tents.
Either that, or PK is very intent on keeping that Tella down.
Now, to answer your question in chat, Tower Key was vanilla today.
Can you imagine how much panic is going through both these racers' heads, having left this to the very end?
Especially with both having completed Moon, and Moon being completely haunted and thinking, oh my gosh, it's been here the whole time.
You're expecting a dot done from your opponent any second.
PK trying to decide who he wants to take on first. Chooses to DKC.
And again, 3801 should be enough to fully... Well, not with that kind of high roll. Okay, that's higher than 1305. Cecil was safe. And lifing up. Very smart. Putting the life on the Porum, making sure she gets the XP here. If you want to get Holy, she's the one you need to life up here. If you want to do Zerker strats, she's your white mage. Get her on her feet.
And Jeebus going in and equipping Kane with the Mute Knife. Looks like they might be taking on that Ashura first.
Maybe thinking if it were DKC, my opponent would be done by now. Earth Crystal, balls in PK's court now.
Yeah, that's the only key item we need. So if I'm PK, I'm exiting out, heading straight to Zot, and going as quickly as I can.
Now, Jeebus still has a massive level advantage. Should be able to clear all these fights that PK has to go just as quick. Although, PK does have double nuke, double quake, and the Crystal Sword. Ah, in spite of the levels, it's too close to tell. We're just going to have to see how these next fights play out, and more importantly, how the Zeromus fight plays out. There are lots of options for our racers, whether they want to do hybrid strats, pure reflect strats, just Zerka Crystal Sword Cecil strats.
Hey, I'm looking at PK's team. I'm thinking just straight up hybrid, Zerk the Crystal Sword Cecil, bounce a couple nukes as soon as you get a chance, but let Cecil be the workhorse. For Jeebus, I wouldn't mind seeing, if not full reflect, but again, another kind of balance with maybe a Zerk Kane, Sid being a chemist, and then bouncing spells. So we get a Zeus Gauntlet from Ashura, and Jeebus immediately stepping over, taking on DKC.
Ooh, 11 HP and a dream on that Porum. Sid was going to survive, and Kane were going to survive no matter what, but a little more XP on that already OP White Mage. Sadly, chat, this does mean that it is Twin Harp behind Earth Crystal. Music pretty much locked out of the seed. I think we have to ban Max Frost from rolling going forward.
Yeah, with neither player having done yet, I doubt either of them takes the time to try to roll through just to check the Twin Harp for chat.
Hey, there's Edge. I wonder who could be in the prisoner chair.
Who is Fu for 500, Alex?
It'd be real wild if PK ditched a Crystal Sword Cecil to go for quadruple reflect strats. I don't see it happening. Crystal Sword is a little absurd.
Yeah, no, that Berserk Crystal Sword is going to be putting out twice the amount that you can get from a reflected nuke.
Yeah, and Baka Shinobi with the wisdom in chat. Both runners took different time investments, both got paid off in other ways. Jeebus had the huge advantage from the D-Machine grind. PK didn't do that. Instead, seeing the elements fight, finding out it was the Kaipo guards, doing a miniature grind there, and accordingly was able to have a team consisting of 2 Palums and a Porum ultimately. Also, took the time to pick Cecil up from the package and ended up with first an Excal and then a Crystal Sword to chew through this endgame as well. So each one kind of made these trade-offs. Jeebus, I think Jeebus would have still had it in spite of those trade-offs, but the big things that happened to Jeebus were taking the time to check the King Queen at Evelyn spot and going Keyless Tower. These 2 checks heavily delayed Jeebus on the back end. Huge advantage on the front end, but just made a few more checks than PK.
Yeah, so we see Jeebus going into the Antlion fight and the Magus Sisters. PK taking out King Queen Evelyn at the Valhalla spot. It's going to get their completion and get their crystal here momentarily.
So at long last, chat, we have been on a long and winding road. We've seen literally every spot in the game. Literally. Except for whoever's at the Twin Harp. You really hate to see it. But we are in go mode officially. PK taking a nap, waking up with a crystal in his hands. But of course, Zemus has ways of throwing a wrench in your plans. And even at these level 50s, any one of these twins can take a full powered Big Bang and get knocked right out. So scene's not over yet.
Yeah, Jeebus with his grind, he's got plenty of levels, got plenty of HP, isn't going to be worrying too much about any type of Big Bang taking everybody out.
But you know, we're in go mode. We got the levels, we got the team, we got the tools, we're taking the Pastor. Gambit, you know what that means?
It's time to ask a question we like to ask at the end of every seed. Whose butt are we going to be kicking tonight?
And both these racers are going to kick this butt very badly. This is going to be, I almost feel bad for whatever Zeromas we're dealing with this evening.
One thing to note, Jeebus actually got rid of Kane, took Fusoya over Kane, so maybe looking for more straight up reflect strat.
That is an extra source of nuke for Jeebus, has the really high leveled Palum Porum and now the Fu with a bonus nuke. But still has cutscenes to go through, and PK is entering the fight. What I would like to see, I think would be funny, is if, because you're 2-2, right? If you're in the Zeromas fight and you see your opponent got done, hit your reset button and go to Twin Harp. Go play the music before you go back to Zeromas. Do it for the fans. Do it for glory.
That would be absolutely hilarious. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening, but it would be great.
So Eddie throwing the Crystal Sword Cecil, I believe with a strength ring. Someone bought one in Baron. Queuing up that Bacchus wine. Sure, we're going to see a Starvel on Porum, and then nukes from the boys out in front. That's a new one to me.
I do not recognize either. Lilithamus.
Being a Lilith, I guess it's some SMT game, but I believe Scala's in the chat and can clear this up for us shortly. Oh, our tracker error saying FF11 he thinks. Frost is guessing Ogre Battle. Scala! Where's Lilith from?
We're sorry, our Scala is in a different chat.
Okay, it is 11. Our tracker error, right? Lilith Ascendant from Final Fantasy 11. Oh, and if the sprite's from Record Keeper, that would explain it. Huge thanks to Record Keeper for making sprite ripping so much easier than it had any right to be.
And again, a huge shout out to Scala Kitty, who does a lot of the sprites, and she does a great work on not just the sprites for Romus, but the palettes that we see on our screen of the different characters. Love everything she does.
And we see PK going full hybrid strats here, not worrying about counting that 61,000. With damage like this, who cares? Cecil's 7,000. Holy's coming out of Porum for full quad 9s. Nukes on the boys, probably going to be seeing over 7,000 apiece on those. Or, you know, just casual 9,000.
Yeah, I think this is all going to come down to if Jeebus does a pure reflect and does not attack at all the Sid, might have a chance to catch up. Otherwise, I think PK might have this.
Oh, PK already does. That is a flash after the first Big Bang. The Crystal Sword, triple Murder Children combo, too powerful to deal with. Coming in first, advancing to 3-2 with a 143.25. GG's in chat for pk4787. Getting a shot to make it to brackets. We'll be getting him into voice chat shortly if he's down for an interview. But watch Jeebus. Watch how Jeebus wrecks this fight as well. This will be a very close finish.
Yeah, I think I saw it in chat. It really all came down to Jeebus is doing Ashura first before DKC. That's really the difference here in this race.
And I think we are joined by PK. PK, GG's, congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you feel after full clearing Moon and discovering just how haunted it was?
Not surprised, but also very disappointed. I don't know, when you have the pass and you have that team, I was like, all right, I'll take the XP. But I was really hoping to find something better than nothing, besides maybe a Crystal Sword.
Well, the XP gave you exactly what you needed, pretty much, and then you and Jeebus basically returned to Earth at the same time. Just Jeebus gambled on it being the Asura fight instead of the DKC fight, and that pretty much made all the difference at the very end. It was back and forth throughout, but that did it. So you're guaranteed at least a play-in match now. How are you feeling after tonight? How are you thinking about your brackets chances?
Well, it's a cake-eating contest, and the reward is more cake. So I've got a little more cake, at least. Error should be happy. Your tracker beat me in the first round, so he just got a slight strength of schedule bump. I'm looking forward to the draws. I'm happy to be moving on. Crystal Sword Cecil, though, just for the win, if you can find him.
Yeah, really a lot of the scene came down to grind options and party setup. You actually took the time, went through the package cutscene to get that Cecil, or rewarded on the moon with that Crystal Sword. Whereas Jeebus went through early and did a D-Machine grind, got all the levels they needed, and just kind of tore through everything else. And again, just the difference was that Thamar's check.
Yeah, I took that Cecil half because I was looking for a second person to slingshot, and then I got up there and saw it was the guards. I was just like, okay, I'll take, a mini slingshot, I guess, and it was karate at the CPU spot, so that wasn't a very kind fight, but it got some more levels. I thought I was just going to be solo Zerker or Cecil for my Z fight, but I ended up getting all the levels I needed.
And not to cut you off, but Jeebus has also wrapped up the seed with a 146-13 super close match, wire to wire. GG's out in chat for Jeebus as well. Just amazing match. Very excited to be here watching this one tonight. Didn't mean to cut you off there, PK. Please continue.
Oh no, that's great. GG to Jeebus. Yeah, I was watching part of it back while I was waiting for it to finish, and it was very close.
So PK, I have to ask you, when you went down to Luca, you saw the Legend Sword and immediately reset out, but thankfully went right back in to check the boss. What were you thinking right then?
Some expletives I won't repeat here, but I was certainly glad that it tripped my mind to go back and double check. Whatever reason, I was trying to remember all of the objectives, and I kept forgetting about that other boss hunt. And I was very, very grateful that I went back and did that. And that got me to 10 key items too, which was nice.
Yeah, we were so worried about you again, just because you did the Dwarf Castle first with the Gauntlet, while meanwhile Jeebus just had all those levels, and the seed had to play out in a certain way for you to close that distance, and it pretty much landed perfectly for you, getting the 10th key item right in time to go to the moon having a couple of bosses that your team was eminently prepared to handle, getting that X-Cal before the Dark Elf fight let you tear through that fight in a way that even Jeebus's extra, several levels did not let him do. So it all kind of, those dominoes just lined up in such a great row for you that it was just so exciting. I definitely recommend you watch the full race back if you get a chance.
Well, I definitely plan on it. Thank you, Inven and Gambit for commentating, Air on the tracking, and Max Frost for restreaming. And I'll let you go, see if Jeebus wants to have an interview as well. But GG to Jeebus as well, and thanks everybody for watching.
Hey, congrats again, GG's.
Look forward to seeing you in the play-in rounds.
All right, and with that, we are also joined by Jeebus0. Jeebus, oh my goodness, you played that seed so amazingly. Just a little bit of bad luck and a little bit of rabbit holes. I thought you had it pretty much the entire way through. What do you think about how you played that seed, other than just how the key item checks ended up playing out on the back half?
I'm not too. I don't feel bad about how I played that seed at all. I got a sub 150 on a near full clear seed, so I'm happy about that. It's not something that you shouldn't be proud of, in my opinion.
Yeah, your D machine grind especially was fantastic to watch, taking advantage of your limited ether source to make sure that you were getting those, double and triple life glitches off when you could get the chance. Just highly skilled. Just it all came down to, at the very end, basically picking Asura over DKC made the entire difference. Just amazing runs. I'm scared to face you in whatever tournament comes next. Your record definitely does not reflect the skill level we saw in play tonight.
Oh, thank you. That I'm very flattered.
So I do have to ask, because again, both you and PK did pretty much the same thing here. What made you just fade Feymarch so long and decide to go full clear moon first?
Well, you get to that point where it's either the Feymarch or the moon bosses, and they're about the same in difficulty, more or less. So you kind of pick one and go. But I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna have to skip something if I want to beat PK, because PK is a great racer. We participate in the same asyncs all the time, and he's just a little bit ahead of me in the record. But so I said, okay, I'm gonna bet that it's not the Feymarch and go to the moon. But unfortunately, the moon was completely haunted.
And just a character difference, because PK had invested in that Cecil earlier, all of a sudden getting those holy swords on the moon, he did bottoms up, so got the X-Cal and then the crystal sword. Huge benefit for his team, and you're just getting these hunks of metal that no one cares about.
Oh yeah, I reset out of all of those. I didn't want to heal afterwards.
I love that play too. When you already have your levels and you don't need the XP, why would I pop a tent or a cabin? Why would I do this? I got a reset button.
Exactly, and then you don't have to sit through the whole or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
but that was a great scene overall. I'm really not too happy, or really not too sad about what happened today. If someone was gonna take me out, I'm glad it was PK because I know he's a great racer.
well, I think we all are convinced fully tonight that you're both great racers. Just an amazing job by both of you. Really looking forward to seeing your races in the future as we get, community races started back up, and of course, future tournaments. I know we're going to be looking out for you. So yeah, just amazing job. Chat, make sure you give both of these racers a follow. They both played ridiculously well tonight. If you like Free Enterprise, you owe it to yourself to follow both of them. Jeebus, any final thoughts tonight?
As always, a big shout outs to our restream team tonight. You Invulnerable, Gambit, Error, and Max Frost for bringing us these incredibly entertaining bits of entertainment.
Hey,
Well,
we can't do it
Jeebus.
without the racers. So thank you, Jeebus.
Thank you.
Yeah, GG's.
And with that, chat, I think we're about to draw this match to a close and send you all over to RPG Limit Break. We do have another 2-2 match going on right now as we speak between, or pardon me, it's not a 2-2 match. Wait, it is a 2-2 match. Okay, it's very small font on my browser window. LaFloof versus Lotcole Live also playing for their tournament life. So, yeah, Gambit, any final thoughts this evening before we go cheer on more racers?
This was a great race. It went back and forth, really came down to just that one final check. Both racers are great. Looking forward to seeing PK in the play-ins and brackets. Looking forward to seeing Jeebus next tournament. And just everybody cheer on the rest of the racers and have a great night.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of week 5, friends. Take care.